Do you know in West Virginia and Ohio, they have a thing they call the Mothman?
I never know Mothman.
Yeah, he's the Mothman, and like the legend goes that some people will be driving their car and they'll see Mothman on the road, and then the bridge will collapse. And so we don't know if Mothman makes the bridge collapse or if Mothman is there to warn the people the bridge is gonna collapse. So we don't know if he's doing good or bad. We don't know. Let me see if I can find a Mothman thing we could watch real quick. It'd be fun, right?
Yeah, but like I've never seen Mothman before. Like,
well, no, because he's in West Virginia. You've never been to West Virginia. Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
There's a clip.
There is?
Yeah. From the History Channel. It must be true.
Ooh.
Let me see if I can share my...
1966. Two young couples were driving down a dark road outside of town. As they passed by an old building, they were startled by a frightening sight.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
They claim to have seen a large winged creature, 6 to 7 foot tall, gray in color, and 2 large red eyes.
Ah!
They said this creature flew over their car and followed them back into town. That was the beginning of the Mothman sighting.
There was more, though.
The young couple's harrowing account was picked up by the local press and incited panic across town. The legend of the Mothman was born. And dozens of encounters with the winged monster would be reported over the next year.
There were over 100 reported sightings to the local authorities. You had some people who, claimed to have seen it while driving in their car. You had other people seeing it in their front yard.
Uh-oh.
For the people of Point Pleasant, the mystery of the Mothman persists to this day. Where did this monster come from? Why did it suddenly appear in this small town? And perhaps most curious of all, why were the first Mothman sightings followed by a visit from the Men in Black?
What?
Some people think he was a being from another world. The supporting evidence of that is the fact that multiple witnesses who saw the Mothman were actually intimidated by what can now be described as Men in Black.
Uh-oh.
Men in Black typically are only associated with UFO cases.
People describe Men in Black as looking like cadavers. They looked like pale-faced zombies dressed in black suits.
Well, that's scary, isn't it?
I interviewed Mothman witnesses who did have Men in Black experiences. This was 40 years after the fact at the time, and they were still clearly traumatized by the event. I had no reason to disbelieve these people, none whatsoever.
Gee.
One resident who claimed to have been visited by the Men in Black was Mary Heyer, a local journalist who reported on the Mothman sightings for the Point Pleasant Register and the Athens Messenger.
Mary Heyer was just a normal, legitimate journalist investigating your average stories around town. And then she was suddenly plunged into this issue involving the Mothman.
Uh-oh.
Mary Heyer had begun investigating the mysterious incidents in and around Point Pleasant with a New York-based UFO researcher named John Keel.
John Keel heard about the Mothman story and decided, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to see what's going on. And when he did so, he hooked up with Mary Heyer. And the two of them sort of became like the Mulder and Scully of that era and secured a great deal of information.
Okay, this sounds actually terrible.
I know, right? Isn't it great?
These investigations would eventually lead to the popular book and later Hollywood film, The Mothman Prophecies. But not everyone was pleased with the information Mary Heyer and John Keel were gleaning from the public about the Mothman.
Uh-oh.
Mary Heyer was visited by Men in Black who told her to stop writing about the Mothman and all these strange encounters. Stop writing about this. You don't want to be involved in this.
This is is a classic example of the Men in Black not just terrorizing and threatening UFO witnesses, but also journalists as well.
Oh, you want to watch the Mothman, America's notorious winged monster? Yeah? Or do you want to watch the Crystal City discovered under Antarctica? What do you think? More Mothman? More Mothman! Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
If it's boring, we can watch the Crystal City, okay?
Okay.
It did have the biggest
Uh-oh.
red eyes.
There's a 6-foot bird and massive wings. And I asked her how big the wingspan was. She said about 10 to 12 feet.
Is Point Pleasant haunted?
I've been in that town. I've been in Point Pleasant.
Yes, very much.
I drive through that every time I drive back to West Virginia. I drive through that town.
Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The Little Appalachian
Cause it's on the way back between where I live and where Portia and Babsy live.
history. It's home to one of America's most notorious legends.
The Mothman!
Described as a humanoid creature with massive wings and glowing red eyes, this man with wings was first spotted in this area in the 1960s and has been a fixture of life in Point Pleasant ever since. The monster is a perfect example of iconic modern American folklore. There's even a Mothman statue in the middle of downtown. Hi.
There's a Mothman museum there too.
The idea that this really is modern folklore. It came from this town. Like, we're staking this spot in this part of the world as Mothman. So they're really uniting Mothman and Point Pleasant and West Virginia.
Okay, lady. I want to watch the Crystal thing one instead. Or do you want to watch this one more, Lexi?
1967, this paranormal activity
I love
culminated in
Wait,
a very
on
real
December
tragedy.
15th?
The collapse of
What about
Silver
17th of what?
Some claimed Mothman was the
Oh,
cause
yeah.
of the accident. Others say
Oh, here's
he
the bridge I was
actually
telling you
meant
about.
to
Okay,
warn
we'll watch,
the
we'll watch,
town
let's
of
watch.
the catastrophe. But how do you explain the Mothman phenomenon? Was it an elaborate hoax, or did people simply mistake something real for an imaginary creature? Or maybe it was something truly so bizarre that it just can't be easily explained. I'm Dr. Emily Zarka, and this is Monstrum.
Monstrum!
On November 12, 1966, in Clendenin, West Virginia, 5 gravediggers claimed to have seen what they describe as a man with wings gliding over their heads. Eyewitness Kenneth Duncan later said the being was gliding through the trees and was in sight for about a minute. But it was here where Mothman became a legend. I'm at the spot of what is widely believed to be the earliest officially reported Mothman sighting, what used to be the West Virginia Ordnance Works munitions plant, better known as the TNT area.
Cool.
On November 15th, 1966, 2 young married couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, were driving around the TNT area when they reportedly spotted what looked like a man with large wings standing in the middle of the road. Steve described the creature as being 6 or 7 feet tall, with a 10-foot wingspan and red eyes, about 2 inches in diameter and 6 inches apart. Linda claimed she couldn't see a head or arms, but also saw glowing red eyes when the car headlights hit the figure, who seemed to shy away from the light. Frightened, they quickly sped away from the figure, but shortly after, while traveling along Route 62, they spotted it again.
Uh-oh.
This time, it followed them. They claimed they couldn't shake the creature, even when the car reached speeds as fast as 100 miles an hour.
Oh, goodness.
This is Denny Bellamy, the Mason County Visitors Bureau Executive Director. Denny has lived in the Point Pleasant, Mason County area for over 60 years.
I was in the 3rd grade. My neighbors saw it, said there's a 6-foot bird with big red eyes and massive wings, chasing cars in the TNT, and in fact, it kept up with Roger Scarberry's 57 Chevy. It's right on this road. This road,
Wow.
as you can
That's
see,
the same road, Lexi.
like a drag strip, and that's what Roger Scarberry was doing out here, was drag racing. There were scratch marks on the ceiling of his car.
There were
and
scratch marks on the ceiling of his car, Lexi.
And he was scared.
Shaken by the experience, the group drove straight to the sheriff's office to file a report around 2 a.m. that morning. Officers immediately set out to investigate. But by the time they arrived at the TNT site, no evidence of the creature could be found. I'm here at the Point Pleasant Public Library doing some research, looking through their archive. There's a lot of stuff here that I'm super excited to explore.
Awesome.
This is a copy of the original Point Pleasant Register of the first Mothman sighting.
Here you go.
Wednesday, November 16th, so that would have been the morning after. Couple sees man-sized bird, creature,
something.
Well, there's drawings. Scarsbury eyewitness sketch of Mothman, verified by others. One of the original
Looks like a
eyewitnesses
Pokemon.
were slightly pale and tired and lacked
Yeah.
sleep during the night following their harrowing experience.
Mothman, I
haven't
choose
seen it
you.
all by
Mothman,
myself.
Mothman,
I
Mothman.
wouldn't have said anything, but there were 4 of us who saw it. They speculated that the thing was living in the vacant power plant, possibly in one of the huge boilers. There are pigeons in all the other buildings, but not in that one. This is new info. I love finding new info. I really do.
What? There's a
This
top.
was a top secret government
What?
facility. They made all the explosives for the atomic bomb. It employed all the people from the town. You would come to work here onto a bus that all the windows were blacked out of, so you couldn't see anything of the facility. And they drove you right to where you
Whoa.
work. You did your job, got back on the bus, and they never saw anything. And the day we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, they closed the facility. That was it. They were done. We're going to go look at the bunkers that give the TNT area its name. It's where
Whoa.
they stored the explosives, the TNT, and nitroglycerin.
Ooh, it's creepy.
You wanna go see that someday?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Well, it looks scary.
I'll be there with you.
There were still rusted cans of gunpowder.
So here's definitely some Mothman graffiti. I mean, we have the humanoid structure, we have the wings, the big
Oh.
eyes. Yes, Mothman. I grew up in forests, but there's something about the abandoned building and the legends and the real history.
Look at those. Those look awesome.
Vibe.
They look
it's
super
honestly
spooky.
really, really creepy.
Yeah.
We're walking into one of the buildings that used to be part of the TNT site. So we're gonna go in. We have no idea what's inside. It's pitch black. Let's see what
Let's
happens.
go, Lexi. Let's go.
Okay, I don't know how far back it goes. Look at these cool lights.
Ooh.
It's small. It's really dark. And I don't know what it was used for. And there's stuff everywhere. Definitely looks like it could be haunted.
There's beer bottles. There's a bunch of kids partying in there.
Here, you never know. Ooh, and I just kicked something. Okay.
Oh, time to get out.
Now I'm more creeped out not even in that building.
I haven't lost a film crew yet, but you never know out here.
Over the following 3 days after the November 15th sighting,
Whoa.
at least 8 more people reported similar.
Look at that.
My brother said, well, don't look, but there's something there beside the car. If I'd roll my window down, I just could have touched it.
Uh-oh.
And then it jumped on the hood and just sat there and just squatted kind of and looked at us. But it did have the biggest red eyes, and it run right past the car, and it jumped up in the air and just opened up the biggest pretty set of bird wings, because you could see the feathers in it and everything. Just opened them up and just went off in the night like that.
For 1 year,
Whoa.
starting in November 1966, over 100 eyewitnesses reported accounts of the Mothman in this area. Almost all agreed on the same points. The monster was as large, or as larger than a big man. It had wings but no feathers, and took off into the air straight like a helicopter, gliding through the sky.
Whoa.
Its face was indistinguishable besides 2 large, glowing red eyes. The town's population was so intrigued by the creature that hundreds of local residents, some armed, went hunting for the winged figure.
Right. Go get him.
Police officer directing traffic. There was so much traffic out here. One of the sheriff's deputies had to come out.
Newspapers are often the first indicators of an emerging legend. They help rumors become lore as more variations are published and told to the public. Mothman was no exception. He even received his famous title from an anonymous Ohio newspaper copy editor.
Hey, I'm in
Who
Ohio.
likely gave the mysterious bird the name Mothman after the famous comic book character Batman, who was the subject of a popular TV show at the time.
No,
Later that
Batman,
month, the
Batman.
Herald Dispatch renamed the Mothman as the Mason Bird Monster, but that didn't quite stick. Were the
Mothman sounds better, huh, Lex?
in the 1960s really seen a monster?
Lexi,
Some people
Yeah.
certainly saw
Mothman
something
sounds
in the
better
night
than
sky.
Mason Birdman,
The
doesn't
sheer
it?
number of sightings
Yeah.
might be an example of the psychological and social phenomenon known
You
as
doing okay?
mass
Are you too
hysteria.
scared? Are you okay?
A textbook definition of
Yeah.
mass hysteria
Okay, good.
is a form of mass contagion in which an irrational
is
belief or
terrifying.
behavior
I
burns
know,
a group
right?
or community. The size of a small town like Point Pleasant offered a unique social
See that bridge with the
environment.
green? You see that bridge with the green?
Residents either had a Mothman story themselves
Wait,
or knew
let's
someone
fucking
who
pause and go back. See that bridge? See that green bridge?
Yeah.
I've driven across. That's the bridge that connects Ohio to West Virginia. And right there
So
is,
you've been through it?
yeah, like 100,000 times.
Hmm.
So
You've
when I
never
drive,
seen
okay,